Want to expand the reach of your content? Start a podcast. Feature industry experts on your show and leverage the influence and reach of your guests to grow your brand. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to B2B Growth, a daily podcast for B2B leaders. We've interviewed names you've probably heard before, like Gary Vaynerchuck and Simon Sinek, but you've probably never heard from the majority of our guests. That's because the bulk of our interviews aren't with professional speakers and authors. Most of our guests are in the trenches leading sales and marketing teams. They're implementing strategy. They're experimenting with tactics. They're building the fastest growing B2B companies in the world. My name is James Carberry. I'm the founder of Sweetfish Media, a podcast agency for B2B brands, and I'm also one of the co-hosts of this show. When we're not interviewing sales and marketing leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of our own business. We'll share the ups and downs of our journey as we attempt to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to B2B Growth. I'm your host for today's episode, Logan Lyles with Sweetfish Media. Today is going to be another episode in our Behind the Curtain series. So sometimes these episodes are just James or just myself talking about things that we're learning as we're growing our business here at Sweetfish. Sometimes we get together and talk about some of the lessons we're learning as well. Today, it's just me. I don't have James with me, so sorry for everybody that loves hearing James's voice on this podcast as much as I do. But what we're going to be talking about today, or what I'm going to be talking about today, I guess, is the frequency of LinkedIn content and a test that I did over a 2-week period to really up the frequency of my LinkedIn content and see what sort of results I would get. I'm regularly on LinkedIn, and so I'm hearing people, talking about how they're using LinkedIn. I see people using it in different ways, posting at different frequencies, using video or text-only posts, all sorts of different things. At the same time, I was really kind of stopped in my tracks by something I heard Gary Vee say on his podcast, which I think was repurposed from a keynote, which obviously he does a lot. But he was saying that the massive opportunity that you have on LinkedIn for the reach of your organic content is huge now. In his last book, Crushing It, that only came out a few years ago, he didn't even mention LinkedIn. And today, two of the big things that he's saying every day when I listen and consume his content is you should start a podcast, which obviously we love. But the other thing that he's talking about is you should be producing content for LinkedIn, because right now and for the next year, year and a half, based on what he said, LinkedIn is feeling like Facebook 10 years ago, where there was still opportunity for organic reach before that really shrunk to almost nothing. And now it's all paid traffic if you want to try and reach people on Facebook. That's not the case yet on LinkedIn. As we know with social media algorithms and the way the market works, that's not going to be this way forever. So I wanted to share some of my own testing, what I did and what you can do to create more content for LinkedIn, because I agree with Gary wholeheartedly. There is a huge opportunity here. So I started posting daily, whereas I had typically over the last 6 months or so posted once a week, if that. So in 2 weeks, I saw 72,000 views of my LinkedIn content. Now, I have been fairly consistent, over the last 12 months in just posting regularly. I grew my network from 1,000 followers to 5,000 followers, and my amount of views went up. When I really hit the gas pedal, these last 2 weeks when I went all in to go daily, I saw my views per post didn't drop. So I didn't see this audience fatigue or this drop off in engagement when I went heavier and hit the gas pedal and really started posting more regularly, more frequently, and going daily on LinkedIn. I saw 23%, so almost a quarter more engagement and more reach of my views per post. My views per post were up 23%. And again, I saw 72,000 views of that content in 2 weeks, which for some people might be slim pickings. For others, maybe you would love to reach that. I'm at about 5,000 followers, so I'm kind of probably in between. I probably maybe have a larger network than some of you listening to this, and a much smaller network to those of you who have influencer status or have a larger following than what I have. So, I'm probably somewhere in the middle. So hopefully this shares something that's valuable, whether you're kind of at a similar stage to me in your LinkedIn network growth, or if you're behind or ahead or whatever the case might be. So in order to do this, so I'm sharing this with you on, hey, here's what I saw in posting daily, but you might be thinking, Logan, how the heck am I going to start posting daily? I've got a good friend in Dale Dupree, and he opens up his laptop at, I think, 6, maybe 5:30 every morning. I'm 2 hours behind him, and I see his stuff very early in the morning. But he oftentimes opens up his laptop, writes right on the go, on the fly, and posts to LinkedIn. I'm not quite that way to where I've got something that just hits me and I can create that great content at the same time every morning. So what I do is keep a backlog. So similar to the way that we manage our podcasts and help our customers and for our own shows, create a backlog of content so that you're always just working on that backlog and not just what's going to go live the next day or what you're going to post the next day on LinkedIn. Keep a queue full. Use Trello or something like that to keep a repository of all your ideas and all your content that is ready to go. So how then do you fill that queue? So some of the things that I do is keep either a voice recording app or Google Docs or just your notes app on your phone. Keep it handy. Keep it on your home screen of your phone so that if you are on a walk, in between meetings, in a meeting, whatever the case might be, hey, I'm getting this question a lot, or hey, this is a quick little story that people might find valuable. Start that content. Just get the thoughts out into that note app or into a voice recording and then come back to it later. Or develop a system where you kick that to your writing team or to a freelance writer on Upwork or to an outsourced team, whatever the case might be. But if you can reduce that friction from the time where you're experiencing something, getting a question, thinking about something that would make for great content, getting that into the engine and then getting that into your queue, those are the secrets, in my opinion, to remaining consistent on LinkedIn and growing your network there and taking advantage of this opportunity while it's still available. I see folks like Dale Dupree and Dave Gearhart at Drift and others that are just consistent and they're daily and they're always at the top of my feed because they are regular and consistent there. So there's an opportunity for you, whether you have 50,000 followers or you have 500 followers today on LinkedIn, to really take advantage of this opportunity. So hopefully this was helpful in seeing some of the testing and the results that I saw and how you could try and do the same to up your frequency on LinkedIn while there's this opportunity. Speaking of LinkedIn, I would love to connect with anybody. Just look me up there, Logan Lyles, or hit me up with a follow on Instagram. Not quite as active there as I've been talking about here. LinkedIn is definitely my focus because of the things that I'm talking about. But on Instagram, I'm at I am Logan Lyles. As always, thank you so much for listening.
If you're a regular listener of B2B Growth, odds are you might enjoy sales success stories with Scott Ingram as well. Well, this year, thanks to a partnership with Outreach and Sales Hacker, our friend Scott Ingram is making the live stream of his Sales Success Summit available for free. The event is on October 14th and 15th, featuring 13 presentations and 5 panels, all presented by top-performing B2B sales professionals. You can check it out and register at top1.fm/live. That's top1.fm/live.